Hey yo, welcome back everybody. We're back with another episode of Schrade N Beanz. This time we're joined by Carson and Elliot. Feel free to introduce yourself, you guys.
First of all, thanks for listening to the podcast. Appreciate the support. And
Yeah. What Carson said. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Elliot from Schrade, and see if we can't make this a banger episode.
I should probably mention why this is coming out later than expected. Like the last audio we did with Marko also, my entire audio like cut out entirely for like the whole episode since I tried using a new microphone and it was still like connected to it. So these guys can hear me through it, but it wasn't registering through like the system or whatnot. But hey, second time's a charm. We gotta figure it out, you know. And yeah, we're back at it again. I guess the first thing I want to bring up is the Atlanta trip a little bit. I know Marko is not here, but we can definitely talk about the game at least.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. You know, like I've gone to games before, been in different stadiums, and that's the first fully enclosed stadium I've been in. And honestly, it was just a crazy, crazy experience. Just how cool the building looks on the outside to getting in, and you're looking right at the field in full AC, just perfectly comfortable, and just like super pretty, really cool environment, and just a lot of fun to be at the game.
Yeah, I'd say in terms of stadium experience, it was by far my best experience or whatnot. Like the whole like view of the stadium, no matter where you're at, it always feels like very
Yeah,
what's the word,
yeah, for sure.
visually appealing or whatnot. And like even like the glass wall in the background looks incredible for the view and whatnot. And walking around like the sky bridge, like the little the catwalk or whatnot,
Yeah,
walking through there. Also the concourse, a lot of the stuff on there, like the restaurants, like some of the art and stuff like that was really really cool to see in a stadium.
yeah.
And
What's
I think,
crazy to me, they had like a lot of different food options and shit,
hmm
and it was also all so cheap. Other
yeah,
places that you go to, you're getting like a $9 soda or something like that,
uh
souvenir cup straight. How much was your cup?
it was $4. So that's
Four
the
dollars for that souvenir cup,
this was $4.
and like
Four,
$2 if you didn't want the actual cup. It
yeah,
was just everything was so cheap there. It was
$2 popcorn too.
yeah,
Like stadium experience out like incredible.
what's your
Like
go-to food? If you had to pick one, stadium,
for me popcorn, to be honest.
popcorn.
That's like
popcorn.
the guts. I know I used to be a big nacho guy, but I don't know. I've always felt like popcorn was like more convenient to get.
I'm probably feeling the nachos.
Nachos. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nachos
Yeah.
and some beer.
Oh yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's different. I do gotta say, especially since I've been to like a lot of pirate games recently, where like alcohol is like $15. Going from that, going or no, even like 22 for like tall boy or something like
Yeah.
that. Going from that to this is like a whole different experience. You know what I mean?
Makes it a lot easier to get drunk.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, it was good. And then, I think the game was a good game too.
Yeah,
Luckily
especially
we got to
since
go and
the
they pulled it out.
yep, got to see arguably, I think now we can say arguably the best running back in the league make his first appearance. I mean, that's me saying that. That's me
I
predicting
don't think that's a crazy statement.
it before it. And prayers to Nick Chubb, but because I definitely rank him above Bijan before like the injury. But I mean, outside of McCaffrey, I don't think it's too far fetched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd definitely take him over Eckler. I'd definitely take him over Saquon. And I think Derrick Henry prime Derrick Henry I'd probably take, but I don't think he's in his prime anymore. And I just think his ability to, like, his jump cut is so insane. Like, he gets so many players with that. Before the draft, one thing I had noticed where he essentially creates his own like running lanes with that specific move, and how he's able to shift his body in such a way that I don't even think any running back's able to do in the league at this point. Like, I told my friend this the other day. Great running backs need a good O-line to like create the holes, whereas Bijan creates his own holes to get to the next level or whatnot. And not to mention how versatile he is as a pass catcher and everything he can do in that aspect. I just think if you were to ask me, I think Bijan's the best running back in the league. And I think by the end of the year, it's going to play itself out.
That's a good take. I like it. But I don't quite think he's there yet. But I like the take. I think he's definitely in the realm of top 3, top 2. But I don't know, man. McCaffrey's running like he never has. Feels like. Obviously, yeah.
Like, if you want to go McCaffrey, I get that. Yeah. You know, especially with longevity.
Until he shows us that he's not gonna put up these crazy numbers, I can't put Bijan ahead of him. I think you could argue that he's a better runner, Bijan.
Yeah, that's probably what my argument will come in.
But it's still a good argument to make that he's best RB in the league.
I think McCaffrey, if you put him as slot receiver,
yeah, his versatility
outside of Cooper Kupp and maybe Amon-Ra, like, probably be the best slot receiver in the league.
Yeah,
so that just shows how great he is at receiving.
Yeah, McCaffrey's versatility is crazy. I think that kind of sets him ahead. As long as he manages to stay healthy, you know, then that sets him ahead, I think, from anybody right now. But
not say even like, I know he just got hurt, but Nick Chubb's like speed with power, like that probably made him like one of the best, if not the best, like running back in the league. So I think with him out the picture, sadly, I think that opens the gate for like Bijan to take that spot as like the best rusher in the league.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's also a versatile like pass catcher too with it, I think that role is only going to grow or whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. I think he opens a lot up for all of the offense in Atlanta for like just his presence.
And I think that brings up another point where Arthur Smith is a really good offensive play caller. I know a lot of people get mad at him because of like the fantasy players that don't perform in his system, but if you watch like some of the film, some of the run plays he draws up, it's just like phenomenal. Like all the blocking that goes to it, the decisions to like go for it on 4th down or made with like creative play calls. Like everyone thinks it's going to a Bijan and then Desmond Ridder runs it out or whatnot. And
it takes a lot of conviction to do that. To just say, on 4th down, and it takes a lot of. I feel like they have to have run that play so many times in the offseason. And you're like, all right, this is our go-to play. Maybe not exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, it takes a lot of conviction to just go for it. I think a lot of teams could benefit from doing that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But other than the Falcons, what other teams do you guys think are? I don't know how to put this. What overreactions would you have to like some teams within the first 2 weeks?
Well, being a Cowboys fan, I think the Cowboys season is real.
Super Bowl.
The Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Probably a lot of people would be like, "What?" But down in Dallas, I'm sure that's what most people are saying right now. So that's probably an overreaction, but hey, they look good.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned when we recorded before, you mentioned the Cowboys, and that was before week 2 had happened.
Yeah.
Are you feeling more or less confident in your pick after week 2?
Definitely more. The Cowboys, it sucks that you don't get to face off against Aaron Rodgers.
That's.
And I still think even if you played, Mike Carson would have gave him fits. Gilmore would have gave him fits. Garrett Wilson probably could have done a little better, I think. He missed Zach Wilson. There was one play that I saw people on Twitter were overreacting about, which was Garrett Wilson cooked Trayvon Diggs on a corner route right in the end zone. And then people on Jets fans on Twitter, maybe not just Jets fans, but people on Twitter were saying, how does Zach Wilson mess that throw? How does Zach Wilson mess that throw? That's by Marcus Lawrence. And people just got to realize that. And so, I don't know. There was a lot of different types of things, stuff I see like that, where it's like, yeah, Trayvon Diggs did get cooked. But there's other parts of the defense besides maybe the quarterback misses a throw, or maybe the defensive lineman gets the ball just in the nick of time, gets his fingertip. And it doesn't look like it's deflected, but it really is. And that's what I felt like it was on that play. Because in the moment, I thought he missed a throw, and then they show a lot of times when people are watching the games, they don't pay so much attention, especially when the play ends and they're trying replays or other stuff, doing interviews. So a lot of people probably missed it, but they did a second look at it, a quick look, and you can see Marcus Lawrence got in on it. And it just was people were overreacting about it, but I don't know. I think the Jets are good, and the Cowboys definitely deserve a lot of more respect that people are giving to them for playing maybe two bad teams or two teams that are both those. The Jets weren't in the playoffs last year; they were good, but the Giants won a playoff game, and they beat the Vikings. They came back against the Vikings by a point. And the roster and the coaching staff is largely the same. So, going forward, I do think the Giants and Jets are not as good as people maybe think they are this year. But so there is like a little hesitancy to my overreaction saying the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl, but I don't know.
Honestly, I don't hate that take.
Until I don't know, maybe week 9 against the Eagles. I could see them not losing the game till then. Pretty easily. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like this is the most complete team like Dak's been a part of, especially in terms of like the defensive support with like the pass rush, and also having 2 number 1 corners is gonna lead to a lot of great defensive play or whatnot. And even like the receivers that he's had, I feel like this is the most weapons he's had to work with throughout his time in Dallas, specifically ever since he signed that contract or whatnot. So having CD, Cooks, and Michael Gallup on top of like Ferguson and Tony Pollard, of course, I think that's the best group of weapons he's had to work with. The offensive line has also been, I don't know if it's been elite like it was back in like 2016, but it's definitely been upper echelon.
They still got the big pieces.
And I think for them to take that leap towards to have them take that leap towards the Super Bowl, I think a lot of it's going to rely on if Dak's going to be able to elevate his play once like the playoffs start or whatnot, and specifically being able to contribute on like plays that he's pressured, if he's able to make those great decisions. Because I feel like in past seasons, even dating back to like his rookie year or whatnot, every time he goes up against a pass rush where he causes them to make the decisions quicker, I feel like that's an area Dak Prescott lacks in those specific games. And I think one thing he can do to elevate that in those situations would honestly just be a better decision maker in those instances rather than forcing something that's not there or just giving it to his first read or whatnot. And I think if he's I honestly think with how the NFC looks, I think they could at least make a Super Bowl run.
Oh, sure.
NFC Championship at bare minimum.
It's definitely Super Bowl or bust. It's Super Bowl or bust for everybody in the building. As a fan, that's the way I see it.
And I know the past years I've probably said that, but I feel like this is the year.
I also think something that's really underlooked. I know Mike McCarthy gets a lot of criticism, but I think the Cowboys as a whole have the best coaching staff in the league. Like,
yeah,
I don't. It sucks to see Kellen Moore go, but I do think that Dak it'll be better for Dak to have Mike McCarthy as a head coach to play college. More in unison on offense.
I will say they definitely. I know that we haven't seen much of them, and I know going against like the Jets and Giants, you're not really in like those shootouts or whatnot. But I will say like the offense, I don't know if it's better, but it's better suited to fit their play style.
Yeah, I think
or
so.
Whatnot.
CD looks to be like he's having no issues getting open at all going against
them targeting him too as much as they did against
the Jets. Have a good secondary. Mike McCarthy seems to be creative enough. Like if he's not doing everything else right, he's getting CD Lamb open. He's getting him in spots where he's not going up against Sauce Gardner while he's in the slot or whatever. He had 11 receptions, 143 yards. Like they could not stop him at all. And I haven't even mentioned Dan Quinn once, and I think he's the best team coordinator in the league, and I think that's the biggest part of why this team has been so good on the defensive side of the ball. He's been here for a while now. Everybody knows what's going on, and defense is they're putting the team on their back right now. Even though the offense looks good, they really just are carrying the team to the big. When you can't score on offense, if they don't put up any points against them, there's no way we can play. That's what it seems like the defense is trying to do every play. To stop them from getting anything. Like, I don't know.
I agree with that. I think the two teams that they're going to go through, the Niners I've talked about before on this channel. I think this is a big year for them to win, but the way they've been playing, it's going to be hard to take them down. But the other team that everyone's probably assuming is just going to be like a legit threat is the Eagles. And I've said, or I haven't said, but I'm starting to worry with how they've played throughout the first few weeks. First of all, like the whole injury, like last year they were incredibly healthy and whatnot, but they've had little injuries here and there, like James Bradbury missing a game, some of their linebackers and safeties missing time, and I don't know if y'all have paid attention to like both of their past two games, but teams have been cooking over the middle of the field.
Yep.
Whether it be Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, T.J. Hawkinson, like Justin Jefferson got whatever he wanted on Thursday. So, and not to mention, on top of injuries, that whole defense for the Eagles went through a lot of change, specifically with their safeties and linebackers and some pieces on their defensive line, like going from Javon Hargrave to Jalen Carter. Granted, Jalen Carter's played really good to the point where the Vikings were doubling him on that game for most of the time.
Yeah.
And even then, I've noticed, like, the offense doesn't feel as efficient as it was a year ago. Like, it doesn't feel like, specifically the deep passing game or whatnot. I know Devontae Smith has been making plays every other week, but I've noticed, like, A.J. Brown's, like, average reception is dropped by nearly double, because last year, like, per reception, he had, like, I believe 17 yards per catch, and this year it's all the way down at 9. And I know it's within 2 games, but
small sample size, but
that's a That's a noticeable dip. I think teams are approaching it differently. I think they're gonna play more to defend like that deep pass or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Now I say that, and Devontae Smith can entirely break out and fix that.
Yeah.
And they still have the best O-line in the league. So I still trust their running game to be as effective as possible. But there's definitely some leaks that are cracks that are starting to show on the Eagles front.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm wondering how healthy the offensive line can stay. Because that, I feel like, obviously, injuries to players like Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Brock Smith would be devastating. But I think, just looking at the offensive line, it's a long season.
Yeah.
They do
Last year they had an incredible run.
But I feel like it's such an important cog to have Dixie Kelsey there snapping the ball, and to have Lane Johnson
I agree with that.
If he can stay healthy. And it's a question that every NFL team has to ask about the trenches. I feel like are the most important in terms of depth, because it feels like it's not the gap between starting and replacement is a lot larger. Obviously, maybe it's different. Like, I think it's definitely different for quarterback to know every single play what's happening with the quarterback, especially if it's a replacement. But
that's something I've admired with Howie Roseman, with how he builds his teams.
Yeah.
Like, every other draft, he's always filling up extra defensive linemen and extra offensive linemen. He's always trying to plan ahead or whatnot. And, like, their defensive line's loaded with lots of players they've drafted early, players they've signed, like Hassan Reddick or whatnot. Like, Milton Williams isn't even seeing the field, and I think he's a quality interior defensive pass rusher. That's just how loaded they've predicted, or how loaded they've projected, like, their defensive line to be in the future. And they always make sure that's not a liability. That's the same with the offensive line, too.
You've got the old pieces in Fletcher Cox and Brandon Grant, but you've also got guys like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter who on 4-year rookie deals. Jordan Davis is 3 more years, but Jalen Carter 4 years.
What they did with Cam Jurgens.
Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson.
He was supposed to be a Kelsey replacement. Like,
it's a great way to draft.
Just how Howie Roseman, like, his management is like Hall of Fame worthy, I'd say.
That's fair. You need to see. They need another. They got the point.
What was it?
They need another Super Bowl. I feel like that's the Eagles are feeling.
Yeah, he's definitely built up his resume to get that to that point or whatnot. But another Super Bowl is certainly something like that.
Yeah. I think if the Cowboys play the Eagles at all in the playoffs, whether it be the divisional or the NFC Championship, that'll be maybe the most exciting game of the year, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
It just feels like, I don't know, the last couple of years, the second game we played them last year, Jalen Hurts was out. The first game we played him, Dak was out. The year before that, Dak was on. So, like, the matchups have been there. We've traded wins and losses, and if the rivalry's heated because they're both really good. But it just doesn't feel like we've got the right matchup, and I think that's what's going to happen first in Week 9. When we got to play Philly in Week 9, it'll be one of the most watched games all year, I think. And then if it goes to the playoffs, we'll go.
NFC Championship game of those two. Can you imagine that? Everyone's going to be watching that game.
That seems like something on the script, maybe.
All right, so let me ask you this. Philly and Dallas. Philly's on the 2-yard line, about to score, and they do a QB sneak. Does Dallas stop them or no?
You know, I would hope so. I think I would say yes. We got Mozzie Smith, Otho, Tigozula. Micah Parsons is going to be as close to them as anyone could ever be, and I think Micah Parsons.
Leighton Vander Esch going to be jumping over the pile.
Yeah.
Like he did last year.
Yeah, he definitely is good for that. Marcus Lawrence on the line. So,
yeah. I'd love to see it with a great defense.
Yeah.
And see if it's really actually unstoppable.
I think even at the one, though, there's no way you can stop it.
That does bring up a good question. Should they ban it?
No, I don't think so. And
I agree.
I don't think they should ban it.
Yeah. I mean, so you can't
like if it's so overpowered, down the whole field, right? Do it. You know?
Yeah. You can't do it down the whole field, so it's not like you can just keep doing it and getting first downs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's purely situational when you're only a couple yards away from the end zone.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck were they doing the whole other drive? They were doing normal, regular plays, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, every team's got their 1 yard play where they need to secure something, and they'll call it, like, use their strongest player. It just happens to be that Jalen Hurts is their strongest rusher. And, they know that he'll get the yards.
Exactly.
What are the reasons that people want to ban it? Just because it's overpowered, broken, or is it because it's a safety thing, or they just don't like it for the culture of football?
It's definitely not a safety thing why they're wanting it banned.
It's just boring. I mean, it really is boring.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you have a great offensive interior line, if you have a great QB that's good at running it, and a well-coached team, like, obviously it's going to look overpowered the same way, like, Andy Reid's trick plays from, like, the 5-yard line look overpowered with some of the shovel passes he pulls off or whatnot. But no one's out here trying to ban shovel passes.
Yep, I agree.
That's how they run it. But I don't know why more teams don't do it. Like, I watched a clip of the Bears game. It was 3rd and 1, and they put the tight end in motion, and then motion him back. He goes under center, takes a snap, doesn't get a yard. And if you watch the play, like, Fields or the running back aren't even pushing. So clearly, there are other teams that tried doing it that are bad at running it, to put it nicely, and I feel like more teams just need to utilize it. I haven't watched the Colts play, but I'd assume they're doing that all the time with Anthony Richardson.
It's just a different formation, but I'm not sure if you guys ever see. It happened a couple times after the Cowboys run what's called the wishbone formation.
Yeah. Hold on, you cut out.
I think we lost you.
Yeah.
It's kind of muffled, like something's covering it.
Still muffled?
Yeah. Let me cut this part out. Also, Marko's on his way home. I should probably point that out. Wow, this part's gonna cut out, so.
Can you hear me?
It's like we can barely make you out. It's like close enough.
I know what it is. Because it sounded good before. I'm gonna call Marko right now.
Oh, we got 2 Carsons.
Yep. Yeah.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, better? I can hear you better.
Okay. Am I able to kick this one? Oh shit, I can't. Is that just gonna be on the screen? What's up?
It's not muffled?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little better. It does sort of sound muffled though.
But yeah, I was just talking about the wishbone formation.
Right there is good. Right there is good.
With the left guard or a right guard, I'm not sure. Whoever with the backup guard.
Hold up. 3, 2, 1. Just for editing. I'll go.
Okay. I was mentioning a wishbone formation the Cowboys ran last year, which was it's not the same play as the new Philly special. I guess you could call it the Jalen Hurts run up the middle, but it was something that was a little different than you had a fullback and then an extra fullback basically with the left guard, and I wish I would see more of it. We haven't seen it this year, but there really haven't been too many close, like 31 situations for the Cowboys to like pull something like that out, or like short down situation. So.
Yeah, I agree. And like even that in general, I feel like teams could just simply put be better coached or whatnot, and within those like 1 yard plays instead of trying to run a read option where the QB keeps and runs into 2 defenders. Not Canada, but yeah, I don't think it should be banned, and I think people that complain about it are just like not paying attention or whatnot.
Yeah. So, all right, we got that one out of the way. Now, are we banning touchbacks or are we not banning touchbacks?
Are you talking about fumbles? Are you talking about fumbles, touchbacks?
Yeah.
I honestly, if you fumble at the 1 yard line, then I feel like you deserve to lose the ball. Like what? Like that Justin Jefferson play. I think that's what you're referencing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying that it should
I
be.
think you don't gotta reach for it there, or whatnot. And there are several other plays you could look at where it's like just do a better job at protecting the ball there. Now, kicking it out of the end zone after it's a fumble as a defensive player, yeah, I think that should result in the offense getting the ball. But ultimately, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I could see, like some type of punishment because obviously you could sneakily use it to kind of get closer. Just, if you're close enough, fumble it into the end zone and start on the 1 yard line. You can't start there. But, I mean, I think I'd rather prefer just restart from where the ball was thrown.
Yeah.
Just you lose a whole down and you restart exactly where you started on the down before. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I get it, too. If you're going to be that sloppy around the 1 yard line, then, that was your chance. It's up.
No, I do know. Now, I do know, like, it was several years back. I think it was the Lions versus the Seahawks. Final play of the game. I think it might have been Calvin that fumbled on, like, the 1 yard line, and then the ball rolled into the end zone. And then I think it was Cam Chancellor, like, just kicked it out. But by NFL rule, the Lions are supposed to get the ball back there at the 1 yard line. So, in that sense, I think, yeah, it should go back to the offense. But I think if it just, like, say you're reaching for the pylon and you fumble it there, I don't see what's wrong with that, to be honest. If you guys are paying attention, we are now joined by Marko Simon. What's up, man?
Oh, can't hear you.
Where's audio?
Can you guys hear me?
There it is. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we got it now.
Carson, you were saying something about the fumbles at the end zone.
Oh, yeah. Like, the play that happened to Justin Jefferson, I think we're all in agreement that they should not get the ball back on that type play. He lost it. He fumbled it. Yeah. Eagles ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll wait a second here. Yeah, I think I'll probably just trim this part out later.
Is there a fan going something? Is that what that noise
is? Yeah, I know. It's the computer because, like, the Chrome or whatnot, so.
I got you.
But yeah. Joining us now, we are joined by Marko Simon.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
I'm doing good. Got back. Bobjack said some kids were talking to kids at the rec center, so we had to come to the gate. There we are.
You booked some kids?
We worked on some kids.
Send some kids to the hospital after their ankle got destroyed. But yeah, I want to know this from you. I guess we'll start you off with this. Does the Super Bowl run through Atlanta?
The only way that's possible is if the game is played at the Mercedes Stadium, which it's not. So I'm gonna go with no on that one.
Does that mean we're fully giving up on Drake London?
He's on the shit list right now. That's for sure.
Definitely give up on Kyle Pitts. You know, yo, this year's different, and then it's just not. But yeah, what do you?
I think they're at least fun to watch.
When they're running the ball, they're unstoppable. Definitely.
Yeah, they're great at getting your hopes up, and they're also great at breaking your heart.
Yeah.
Kind of what I'm embracing.
Falcons fan has full experience of that.
Yeah.
But what do you think is different about this year's team compared to like the first few years of Arthur Smith's time?
They have a defense that can play football, whereas in the past, if they gave up 30 points a game, you just kind of expected that. And they finally have a solid star player who can actually represent the city, whose name is not Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
So things have been working
we
out.
Don't like Kyle. We don't like Pitts anymore either.
We are certified Kyle Pitts haters here.
At
least I am.
I'm still on the Pitts bandwagon.
Now listen. As a fantasy football player, not as like an NFL player, I love a lot of the stuff he does on the field, especially since coming into the league, like him improving his blocking or whatnot. I respect that, but as a fantasy football player, no. I would personally make the argument he is the least valuable fantasy asset you can have on a team. That's for fantasy. Let's be clear. That's for fantasy.
So we're taking
not for real life.
We're taking Schultz over Pitts.
We're taking a lot of, like, in terms of like to your team. I'll take Schultz in like the 9th, 10th round instead of like Pitts in like the 6th.
I knew something was really up last week when Jonnu Smith was getting more production.
Yep. Pitts not even the number one tight end on his team getting targets. And it's like you can honestly keep going further, like Sam Laporta or Kyle Pitts to start in fantasy. I know Jared knows that answer.
Luke Musgrave, whatever his name is.
I mean, Luke Musgrave's in a decent passing attack. He gets targets too, so he's pretty much valuable. More valuable than Pitts. We're sort of going on a segment with this.
Safe to say he touched a nerve with Marko.
Yeah. I mean, let's go.
I have to like him.
Let's go even. Matter of fact, let's go even further. Him or Josh Oliver. You know, Josh Oliver averages 3 targets a game. His team's always in the red zone.
You want me to be completely honest with you, Sam?
No, I'm going too far with that.
I'm not really sure who Josh Oliver is, if I'm being honest.
He's a backup Vikings tight end. He used to be a Jaguar and a Raven.
Okay.
He was like a 2nd round pick from like Urban Meyer. That's all you need to know.
And funny enough, I don't even recognize the name.
Yeah.
We sort of went on a fantasy tangent there, but I think Atlanta's defense is definitely way more improved. Although I would love to see their pass rush get better, specifically see Arnold Ebiketie take a jump to like the number 1 edge rusher on that team, or pass rusher for that matter. Like him and Grady Jarrett could be a really good duo. And I think AJ Terrell's returning to form with to becoming one of the best corners in the league, and him
he's on his way.
And him getting complimented with Jesse Bates. It's just perfect.
Yep.
And as for the offense, I sort of brought this up earlier, so I'm just reiterating it. the way Arthur Smith runs his scheme to get these open lanes for running backs, not even just Bijan, but also Algier, and the way he uses the run game to create all these open looks for the passing game is honestly impressive, considering that Desmond Ridder, I don't know, considering the way they call plays, it's like they can't trust Desmond Ridder 20-plus yards downfield. But with how he's calling the offense, he really doesn't need to. And whenever they call his number, he seems to always hit. Well, I don't know how often it is, to be honest, but all they need Desmond Ridder to be is basically a game manager. And I think you can win like that, especially in the NFC South. Although there are 3 teams that are undefeated.
If you would have told me that before the year started, that the best of the company in the South, I would have laughed at you and called you crazy about 100 times. That's the biggest surprise to me so far.
Yeah. I think they have a chance to keep it up. Maybe not. I don't know about the Saints. I'm still questioning what the Saints are doing, but they look good. Olave looks good. Michael Thomas looks like he could be back potentially.
One of the questions I had about the Saints was their pass rush. And I know it's a 2-game sample size. Carl Granderson has looked really nice. He's causing... I know the O-lines they faced haven't really been that good, like specifically Tennessee. But he's been getting after a QB. I don't know his pressure numbers, but I know he's definitely been making noise.
My thing with New Orleans...
Also that secondary is insane. I know Marcus May just got suspended, but those are insane.
My thing with New Orleans is I don't know if Derek Carr is going to change that offense like that. He's in this new team, this new system, and to be quite honest, with playing exactly like he has both those subpar, but he just didn't play with Derek Carr, which I also don't understand. But
I think the frustrating part about Carr, I don't know if y'all witness this when you watch him. He has the ability to like move in the pocket or like create like play make outside the pocket, but 80% of the time he chooses not to. And he's just like standing still, just like staring down whatever read he's making. Like, I think the perfect way to symbolize how Derek Carr plays is the Bengals playoff game, where it's the last fourth quarter play where he has a clean pocket and he forces a double covered pass that's short of the sticks. And I think that's a frustrating part to his game, where it always feels like he's capable of doing more, but when it comes to execution, it always seems like he's short or whatnot.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, valid.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I guess that leads us. Marko, your mic's cutting out.
Did you see the ending to the Broncos game this weekend?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, wow.
Shut up.
Yeah. Hail Mary. Spread did not hit.
Yeah.
Dude, my Eliminator challenge that I'm in lasted 2 weeks.
You picked him this week, didn't you?
Yes.
You said
that was my lock of the week.
No way.
Lock of the week.
Oh. Yeah,
wait, I thought it was you that said the Redskins. Did one of y'all say that? Or the Commanders? Sorry for saying that.
Canceled.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah, didn't their new owner like? Yeah, their new owner rejected it, but I think there are some people who would want it back, but it's not going back.
For what?
At this point, I think it's too late to bring it back, but at the same time,
I felt like it was better than the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I also understand why people want to cancel it and get rid of it.
I mean, even then, there are still like teams like the Chiefs in the league.
Yeah, that's what I
think part of it was like the way Dan Snyder. I think a lot of it had to do with how poorly Dan Snyder handled that situation, which is why people wanted to get rid of it. And even then, there are still teams like the Indians, the Blackhawks, literally.
The Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, the Braves. I guess
I think the teams those teams respect those teams also respect those cultures, whereas like what Dan Snyder was doing was
true,
not respectable.
Yeah, to put it kindly.
All right, Marko.
What's up?
0 seconds left. They're going for 2 points. It feels almost like the Super Bowl again. Should they have ran it instead?
I think ideally, Russ does what Russ does. Pump it a couple times. And then he did exactly what he always does. He forced a bad pass and lost the game.
But there was the eye.
Yeah, I was sitting in a restaurant and I was screaming and shouting at the end of that one. But no, I can't believe that they even let it get that bad.
Weren't they up 21-3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't watch it. I didn't know what happened.
So I believe in the Broncos. I really do. I'm not losing hope just yet. I think they're going to have at least a solid season, but this was just a poor lack of execution after already going up big at the start.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like their team this year is better, like especially offensively. Like Jesus, actually able to score more than 17 points.
Yeah, for 1 week.
Yeah, going from Ajira Evero to I believe it's Vance Joseph is definitely taking a step back on the defensive side. And shout out to Pitt for a bit, but Damari Mathis has been getting cooked badly. Like Pat Surtain has been locked down coverage, but the other team's just looking at Damari Mathis and throwing him like
right where he
70 times a game. Like y'all saw the Jacoby Myers game. I think this one. I think it was Terry had a long touchdown on him, or someone else.
Dawson was working too.
Did he? I didn't see that, but maybe he did. But yeah, that cornerback too is looking iffy for the Broncos. Even
Who's
though
someone they can sign to fix that?
Who?
Who do you think is someone they can pick up to fill that need?
At this point in the year, I don't really know.
The only person that came to mind.
I know Ronald Darby could get healthy or whatnot.
The only free agent that I could really think of was the guy that the Steelers cut out.
Oh, Anthony Brown?
No, William Jackson.
Oh, William Jackson. Oh.
Yeah. He's still.
Well, that would also count on him being healthy.
Yeah.
Which, that's not always a guarantee.
Yeah. I think it just reiterates the theme about secondary, bro. It's just hard to find good secondary players and hard to keep them on your team.
The crazy part is they have, like, a top 2 corner.
And they have
top 3.
There's Justin Simmons there, too.
Yeah. And they got Kareem Jackson, who always seems to find a way to get himself a illegal hit or whatnot every week.
Seems like it's not an accident, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to infer too much, but...
What is he, a 14-year, 15-year vet, and he's still doing it?
Yeah.
Or hasn't learned?
2 weeks in a row. Like, how does it happen 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
Should have been ejected in the first week. It's okay. I get why you don't do it, but... It's just what the NFL does not want to happen. It's... like repeated mistakes, and they're not good mistakes at all.
I agree.
It just casts a horrible light onto the NFL about brain injuries and stuff like that. And
yeah,
like, I don't know. I felt like they were in a lot of hot water last year with DeMar handling that whole situation as one thing, but after a lot of these plays, not necessarily that the NFL is at fault at all for anything that happens to the players, but I mean, they kind of are. I feel like to a certain point. Obviously, you're going to suspend the guys that do those kind of plays and stuff like that, but it still happens.
I feel like the NFL is under a lot of heat, especially with the Tua situation, where they tried covering up his first concussion, which it was a concussion for those. I mean, I don't think I have to explain that.
Yeah.
The fact that they tried covering that first one up and get back into a Thursday game, and then
clear him in the same game.
Well, they didn't clear him. They just made up a random back injury.
That's what it was. Yeah, they claim
him to fall forward.
Therefore, they don't even have to go through any concussion protocol because they labeled it a back injury. So that's how they got around it. And
I think that stuff like that. I don't think NFL really does anything unless it hurts their brand. Like, they don't really care about. I mean, they won't address player safety until it affects their image. That's how I'll put it.
I agree.
Well, I won't say they don't care about them, but I mean, if it's not impacting them, then it's not really going to be affected.
What's it going to take? I know another thing that we talked about earlier. What's it going to take to fix the field? And
it's crazy. The fact you brought that up, and the Monday night game, there was injuries left and right on a grass field.
Nick Chubb. I mean, that's one. The Nick Chubb thing is a little different, I feel like, than. Yeah. Obviously, it's player safety, but.
That is literally injury eye.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, I think they definitely should make that move to turf, and I think the fact that the NFL is able to cater to the World Cup of soccer for those players, but not even its own. It's very questionable.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there are in the last podcast we recorded that didn't get published, we talked about something David Bakhtiari said, but I haven't really. I know that there was stuff about the Eagles in the Super Bowl, but that's a little different. That was a slippery playing surface, but I don't hear that much from players. A lot of always complaining about the field surface, but it seems like it's we're noticing it when they play at MetLife. Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles, and specifically last year, I think maybe Saquon Barkley said something. I could be wrong, but besides him, it just didn't feel like that many players were coming out and being "You got to do something about this." And I also wonder if there are talks between owners and players outside of the media that are behind closed doors about this kind of stuff, and maybe that's the way the owners and the organizations want it to happen so that they protect their brand. But I don't know. This field doesn't change. This field is still turf, or it's whatever. They can play more about grass, I think, or they like to play on grass, I think, right?
Yeah,
they prefer it.
I think it's cheaper to initially put in grass, but it's also way harder to maintain and also more expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
But I think ideally the best way to do it for these players is how the Cardinals and I believe the Raiders do it with their grass, where they'll the grass will be grown outside the stadium, and then there's a little area to insert it in underneath, so that by the time it's game day, players are playing on fresh grass or whatnot.
Yeah. It seems kind of expensive, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like the NFL should just do whatever it is. Do the research and the data of what playing surface correlates with the least injuries. And because that's what people are complaining about. They notice a disparity in the amount of injuries and the severity of types of injuries that people are facing on. What was it, Odell Beckham in the Super Bowl? I forget what field that was. That Cardinals at the Cardinals.
That was Rams. That's the
or the Rams SoFi Stadium. Like,
I think
obviously,
how his leg came down too.
Yeah.
Or how it just dragged on the turf. Jameson Williams, another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll probably take pressure, and it'll probably also take somebody sitting down and doing the research of figuring out, how many injuries have we had on grass fields over the course, and how many injuries have we had on turf fields, and just kind of see, like, where the trend is going. Is it normal and we're just only picking the ones that happened on turf? Or is there more injuries that happen? And I think once people come out with solid numbers to fully back that up, instead of just pointing at one specific person, pointing at Aaron Rodgers or someone like that, then that'll probably be where the pressure starts. And it's a little different from brain injuries because that's something you've got to get under control and really do in order just to protect your brand. But this just comes down to the margins for the NFL, and if it makes sense to spend more money on something, then why would they?
Especially if you consider like all the money they're gonna lose from like Rodgers not playing and all those key matchups. Like I think there's a Friday game that they can't flex out. I don't think they can flex out the Week 4 game against the Chiefs. Another year of not seeing Patty versus Aaron. That's
sad,
frustrating, but yeah.
So, Zach Wilson 5 more times on prime time this year.
How do we feel about Garrett Wilson?
Just, the wide receiver's a beast. He's a stud.
Yeah, I mean, do you think if anybody other than Zach Wilson was throwing to him, that he would be better?
Jameis Winston. I'll give you that.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he definitely could be doing better, but I think he's done great so far. Even though the number, like, he's not leading the league or anything like that. He's had 2 good performances, I feel, against the Cowboys, who have a great secondary, and who did the Jets play in Week 1?
Bills.
The Bills. And I'm not sure what I didn't really wasn't honed in, focused on just Garrett Wilson the whole time, so I don't remember what happened in Week 1, but he did have good numbers.
He had that play where he tipped it in front of himself and then caught it with the same hand against Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, I was going to say, Trey White was probably, I don't know what the snap count looked like or what, but I just looked at the box score and he put up numbers. He put up 60, 70 yards, something like that. I can't forget.
I do gotta say, especially with Zach Wilson, he's had to create his own luck.
Yeah.
The long touchdown where he broke away, and the fade play where he had to tip the ball to himself and catch it. And yeah, he's basically had to create a lot of his luck. Shout out Will Jack for the little interjection. Jordan better. Nah, let me chill. But yeah, I think Garrett Wilson is still I think Garrett Wilson is still a really good receiver.
I think he could easily be a top 5 receiver this year. I might not put him there right now. I don't think I would, but by the end of the year, I'm saying I think I could easily put him in that.
With Rodgers, man. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
I was really looking forward to that.
What's up?
What's it gonna take for a guy like Garrett Wilson to request a trade and want his way out to get that?
Want his way. I think if we're gonna talk about receivers wanting their way out, I mean, he's still got like 2 years at least.
Yeah, I don't think the Jets are in any mood to let him go.
Yeah, unless you're like AJ Brown and want to power up because your team's running the ball down a team's throat, and then they force feed him 4 targets and it messes up the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of AFC threats, I think it's a good time to talk about the Duval gang.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
How are them boys looking?
I I really had a lot of faith in them. I genuinely had a belief that they could beat the Chiefs, but when it came time to sit down and make my picks, I had to choose the Chiefs, and I've never been more upset to see that I was right. But you know, they started off. I mean, they weren't doing too bad. It's just that they couldn't
finish,
complete anything really.
Like I think they were like so close to like 3 touchdowns, like just getting feet down and whatnot.
Yeah, and just I mean interceptions that don't turn into touchdowns, turnovers, and not really capitalizing on any of the opportunities that the Chiefs gave you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think you're cutting up. You're a little muffly, Marko. I don't know if we can hear you.
My biggest problem with Jacksonville right now, you have a guy like Travis Etienne there in the back, and he's just not performing.
It's still cutting. I might just cut this out.
You say Travis Etienne?
Yeah, he's right. Not playing the way he should be playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Especially, I don't even know if he's the goal line back there anymore with Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby.
Hey, I saw him getting reps.
Yep, he's getting reps.
Yeah, I kind of expected more from Etienne this season, but so far it just hasn't been happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think some use. I don't think the offense will look that bad every week. Well, it wasn't even bad. It was just they couldn't finish once they got to the goal line. That really, or not the goal line, the 5-yard line or whatever.
Are you going to throw more of the blame on Trevor Lawrence, or are you going to throw more of the blame on his weapons? I heard arguments about they couldn't get people stay in bounds, things like that.
Well, I think the one play, it was just a rule where because he was facing like his heels were facing towards out the end zone, but his toes were still in. That was like a rule thing. Where if he was facing the other way, it would have been a touchdown.
That's great.
Because of yeah. But I don't think either one's to blame. It's just I don't think it'll be an issue. And moving forward, I think those the goal line issues aren't going to be super glaring. Now, if there's another week of it, then maybe.
Yep. I think we still got a strong season ahead of us. You know, that was a tough opponent for week 2.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to see him
with the Chiefs with Chris Jones too. Not just
he made an impact.
They also got Travis Kelce too.
Yep, got him back.
Mhm. Yeah, they needed him badly.
Yeah.
And you can see why in that game. Just
he dropped an open touchdown. That really surprised me.
Zay Jones.
I don't know if you guys saw that one. He should have had 2.
Kelce.
Oh, Kelce. I didn't see his.
No, Kelce.
I didn't see him drop it.
Pat threw him one in the back of the end zone where he had already beat his man. He just overthrew him. And, I mean, Kelce's a big dude. He just, even when he went up for it, he just missed him. And it was just, I think it would have made that game completely different because it was early. It was like the end of the first quarter. You go up big early, I think it just changed the trajectory of everything.
One other note with this game, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So week 1, Juwan Taylor goes viral for skipping the snap or whatnot, and then during this the week leading up to week 2, the NFL goes, we're gonna crack down on this, and I think this game, Juwan Taylor had 5 false start penalties. I think he even got benched at some point. Jeez. And the fact. And to your point,
didn't he
he's
just
been
sign a
doing
big
this.
deal
Apparently,
too?
he's been doing this in Jacksonville his whole career. No one noticed it. No one really cared. But the second he signs a $20 million per year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, all of a sudden he's put on spotlight.
Yep.
he's put under a spotlight with this, and everyone's like, "Oh, he shouldn't be doing this." So
yeah,
you gotta feel bad for the Chiefs in that sense, even though no one here is really feeling too bad.
Nah. The Chiefs will be fine. They'll make the playoffs. Probably win the division comfortably.
That's what you
I don't
hope.
think. Yeah, I don't unless
Till the ride
anything
gets-
happens to Mahomes or Kelsey or Chris Jones. I feel like as long as those three guys stay healthy, the rest of the team can usually rally around.
Yeah.
Speaking of being under scrutiny, once you get paid, what's up with Sleepy Joe?
Super Bowl pick looking iffy. Real.
What's the cash out looking like?
Shit, so is the Chargers pick I made.
I think it was at 18 when I last checked. And Joe Burrow might miss a lot of time too. So that's the real concern with them. And week 1, it's a rain game. You're just thinking, oh, it's just
It's a fluke.
what impacting it. This week is concerning. Like Joe I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the calf that's messing it up, his throws or whatnot, but it's like his chemistry is just with his receivers is just not there right now. Like outside of T. Higgins, and
Yeah,
that
my
only
other issue
happened
with
in
that
like the
team-
second half.
Yeah.
But
My other issue with that Bengals
That's
team
another-
right now is
that's another thing
where's
I'll
Joe
bring up.
Mixon?
like,
Dude,
Joe
I'm
Mixon,
not even hearing his
Joe
name.
Mixon looks slow.
He's yet to score a touchdown.
Definitely doesn't look as explosive as he once did, and he's always been like this shifty guy, and it's like he's just a downhill runner at this point. I mean, it's almost like
Yeah, I
It's
can't
sort
say
of
he
like-
looks like
it's
he's
sort
going to
of
drop
like
55
how
fantasy points this year in one game.
his career is shifting to like Zeke,
I know.
or how
I was
Zeke
just thinking
shifted
that, bro.
or whatnot.
And I'm thinking, who else could be like that?
Now he
this
didn't get 90 million, or Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette's a good one, actually. But now he didn't get 90 million or whatever Fournette got, but he was towards the end of his deal, so at least that contract wasn't like holding the team back or whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely looks slower. As a result, like the run game overall hasn't really helped Joe out. And like I said, with the passing game, they just seem off sync. And I don't know if that's the calf. I don't know what else that would be. But it looks really concerning. And also their run defense. I know it was Lamar Jackson, but it still wasn't as elite as it was in the previous 2 years, where it just felt like the Bengals were always like one of the best teams at stopping the run. Where now these past few games has felt like they've been average at stopping the run, and that's a big difference between those.
Yeah.
Between like that tier gap.
Yeah.
So-
Going back to what you said about Mixon, I feel like it's. I hate it. It's my least favorite thing to watch happen in the NFL is watching your favorite guys, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley, just deteriorate, bro. It's so sad. I hate to see it.
Watching Le'Veon and the Chiefs is so hard. And
It's just
then
hard. It's
watching-
heartbreaking, bro.
And then the Ravens is like, yo, the Ravens are getting Le'Veon, and then you watch
Went to Baltimore, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's sad, bro. And I don't know. Like I was trying to think of some running backs who might be older. Like, man, Dalvin Cook used to be really good, and I
feel
don't
like
think
the
I
running
think
backs
he
that
still
last
has a good
longer
chance.
are bruisers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like Derek.
But
like
once they
Mark
start to
Ingram
go
played
down-
for a long time.
Yep.
Like Derrick Henry
Thor.
is still looking like Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Like theoretically, the pass catching elusive backs would last longer, but they just don't.
Yeah.
I know
And you
Todd
hate to.
I know
Yeah.
Todd Gurley had arthritis, so I guess his is feasible. He has a high ankle
Is
sprain.
Eckler out
Ankle
long
sprain,
term,
yeah.
or should he
That's
be
what it's
back and ready to go?
Couple weeks. That's probably what they'll say. Get him back in there, but
They'll say he's day to day, and That
I know Saquon's out tomorrow. Is that long term?
A couple.
Or that's just one game?
I would not bank on him coming back after this week. Yeah.
That looks bad. I was watching that. He goes to the sidelines and he's
shout out to NFLPA for going after these fake injuries. Now that we're on the subject.
Yeah. I hate to see it, but like Nick Chubb, thinking about next year for Nick Chubb, I think he'll be okay, but...
You want to know the messed up part about that, too?
That's such a hard injury.
They could save $11 million by cutting him next year, and there's a chance he never plays football again. There's a, I said, or at least
I don't
want to believe
that.
Not gonna return
I don't
Nick
want to
Chubb.
believe that.
Like that is, he's gonna need two. He's gonna
that's
need
out
two
the
major
window
surgeries on the same knee, the same one that he had reconstructed almost a decade ago. So
it's
like ignore even like coming back this year. Like we're probably never gonna see elite Chubb again.
It's so sad.
For what it's worth, I can tell you when that injury happened to him in college, that was 2017. Obviously, he missed the rest of the season, and he missed like a quarter of the next year after that. But come bowl time, that's when they're in the Sugar Bowl versus Baker in Oklahoma.
I mean, Sony.
He balled out that game. It went to double OT, and and Sony. But you come back from something like that once, it's a freak accident. If it happens twice, I mean, Sam, you know just as well as anyone, like, yes, those injuries suck physically, but even mentally, that shit's even harder. And Chubb's a crazy athlete. He's a strong person physically and mentally, but goddamn, if you got to go through that twice and just sit back and watch all that stuff,
and even once he tore it,
you can't be a part of it. That's got to be hard.
The timetable doubles.
Yeah.
So if it's 8 to 12, it goes from like 12 to 15. It's the same thing with like Odell Beckham, but I think Nick Chubb specifically, a lot happened there, like a lot tore or whatnot. I was worried. I was worried about
the artery. ACL, MCL,
I was worried about the artery.
All the ligaments.
Dude,
like there was a real chance he could have lost his leg.
Yeah,
like, I'm glad it didn't turn out that.
Did he get paid last off season? Was it 2 off seasons ago?
Oh, well, yeah, it was 2 at this point. Yeah. But
I mean, I know he didn't sign a super long contract, but at least he got some money.
Next year they could save $11 million if they cut him.
Yeah.
And have like a $4 million cap hit, and they're gonna need that cap to pay $60 million Deshaun Watson.
It's just a tragic situation, man.
That, and then also, I think they're gonna probably extend.
The thing about Kareem, he just looked so bad last year. he was very slow. Like it's sort of like the Joe Mixon problem, where it's like you're not really that good of a runner. You're good at pass protection, I'll say that, and like receiving out the backfield, but I'm just not explosive anymore.
Yeah,
and it's like a sad reality with like. That's why
I think they knew that though. That's really why he was just going in like third down.
Lenny. That's why teams took forever to sign Dalvin. That's why it's probably another running back I can't think of. Like James Robinson. That's another one.
Yeah, he's a free agent. That's crazy. He's been in the league for like 3 years or 2 years.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah. Like he had back-to-back 1,000-yard years. Didn't get paid, and then
out of a job.
But that's also because of his Achilles, which that's tough. Which Cam Akers.
What do you guys think about the transaction today?
I guess
Cam Akers to
Minnesota. Here's a simple way to put it. I guess we'll find out if he's good at football.
Yeah, I don't really think you could tell.
I'm not saying he's bad. Like obviously he's better than like most people in the world, but he's had a hard time coming back from the Achilles injury.
Yeah.
The other conclusion from that is if you're Alexander Madison, you had to sit behind Dalvin for what, 3 or 4 years? To finally get
it sort of like goes back to what I said. We'll find out if he's good at football because they're gonna give Madison the workload, unless Cam Akers shows he's really good.
Yeah, he's better than him.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting trade. What did they get in return? A future pick swap or something like that?
6th round picks. I'm pretty sure.
They swapped, yeah. All right, here I'm gonna say this. Here's my biggest concern with one NFL player right now that should be shining and is doing the absolute complete opposite.
To start with that H.
Can you? I'll tell you.
Man, I wanted to have
running back.
That Herbert combo.
No, it is not. Nope. No. Oh no. Yeah. I'm not willing to start that yet.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to start there yet. I'm going Josh Jacobs. I mean,
really
how can a man go from fucking 1,200 yards last year to last week he had -2
Can you really blame
on 10 carries? 10 carries.
Can you really
-2 yards? I mean,
he got less than Aaron Rodgers sitting on his couch on Sunday.
I mean, they did go against the Bills.
Forward and you'll get more than getting two.
Flag.
I think we're still
was not in favor of him.
Yeah.
But even then, Josh Jacobs was not good the week before. So I'll give you
he
that
wasn't.
credit.
But I'll counter with the small sample size argument. It's only 2 games.
Yeah.
You got to give him a little bit of. I want to see him at least with 25 touches for the next 2 or 3 games to get him in his rhythm. If he doesn't get that workload, like that's what he thrives in. I feel like that's what he wants, and that's what the Raiders should want.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to pass the ball more, but
how much can you blame it on contract issues? Him waiting on a contract, something like that.
He got 1 year.
He got 1 year.
He got paid though, didn't he?
It's basically a franchise tag.
Maybe I've still got PTSD from Jalen Ramsey, but watching him just sit on the sidelines faking an injury until he finally went to the Rams.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, where it's like you're not going to get the best of him.
Yeah.
While these arguments are still happening, and yeah, he got paid this year, but it's just for him to prepare to have to argue more.
Also, I don't think that interior group's really that good too, so that doesn't help him either. Although I don't know how much different.
They weren't that great. Yeah, they're not. They weren't that great last year.
I was just thinking that.
So, but it's just I feel like he proved himself, and now he doesn't want to devalue himself, accidentally going too hard for a team that won't pay him, when he knows that if he just kind of sits back, he might have a team that's interested. And so,
that's an interesting thing to think about too.
Watching a player that takes like a hard decline after a really good season.
Yeah.
Like contract issues can be a big part of that.
Yeah. That can be draining for like any player, especially.
And I think for us fans, it's like really just a mystery, and it's all just speculation for us to.
It's like nobody was like
what's going on.
Like running backs are getting like 12 million or barely getting 12 million or whatnot, but players like Josh Oliver can get like
unless you're Bijan
to be a backup blocking tight end. Players like Cole Kmet are getting paid $12 million, which we're about to get into the Bears in a bit, but it's like all these other players are getting at different positions. Hell, the long snapper for the Colts got the highest deal a few weeks ago. And it's like, would you rather pay Saquon Barkley $12 million or like a blocking tight end for like $12 million? That's not like a good receiving threat.
Yeah, but the thing is, you pay one running back $15 million a year, Ezekiel Elliott, and the rest of the league never forgets. They will never forget.
They don't forget about the Le'Veon deal.
Yeah,
Le'Veon didn't have a chance to survive in New York, and like since day one, he's like, "Oh, it's a bad contract," and the literal coach called it a bad deal before like May or something, which is why that GM got fired for Jed Douglas.
Yeah.
That same offseason.
And it's just sad though, because looking from the outside, like a season like that Le'Veon Bell had, or someone who, like Saquon last year, had a really good year last year. It feels like they deserve the money. It really feels like they deserve the money because of the shit they go through. But then when you look at it, and it sucks because like Nick Chubb will just go down for the year, and now that contract looks not good. But Nick Chubb definitely deserved that money. The time he.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's the thing. That's where I think about, like, how can he deserve the money and at the same time it be a bad contract? It just doesn't make sense, but that's the way it works because it's just volatility. There's too much volatility at that position.
And it's weird to me because it really is only like that.
Like I just said, with blocking tight ends.
Because literally everything else, if you're... Yeah, because anything else, if you're good at the position you play, you're going to get compensated for it. But if you could be the best running back and you're making fucking like scraps compared to other positions. It's weird to me. Meanwhile, you're the one scoring
sacrificing
the ball
yourself.
more than probably any other position on the field.
Well, I think there's a fine line between valuing a running back versus valuing the run game. And I think those are two different ways that you're supposed to value. I think a team that does it perfectly is the Chiefs or even like the Super Bowl Patriots teams.
Yeah.
Where they invest in the O-line, and then they'd have like 2 or 3 guys that they'd always count on. Even the Eagles. The Eagles are another team too.
If you saw that, they weren't even throwing the ball.
Last year it was Sanders, Gainwell, Boston Scott, and this year it's DeAndre Swift and Penny hasn't really played, but
I think that's from what I hear. He's getting skunked. He's getting like shunned.
The real running backs are like the QBs, and when they use those players, because when you have a QB that can run, like Jalen Hurts or Anthony Richardson, that opens up the run game itself.
Yeah, totally agree.
But I guess talking about running QBs, I guess it's time to talk about someone I'm disappointed in, and that man is Justin Fields. You know, the Bears have gone.
Oh my God, he's just been terrible his whole career. I don't care what anyone says.
You see that
anyone
jersey?
says to justify it.
That's the one you. That's the one he wore against
4 good
Clemson.
rush touchdowns in
Y'all
16
saw that game.
weeks last year.
Yeah, but no, I've honestly been incredibly disappointed with Justin Fields' development this year. The first 2 years, I said he just needs time. He needs time to learn. And a lot of QBs even need that. Like, coming into the league, Jalen Hurts had a processing issue. Even Herbert, like, before he entered the NFL, had the issue of just, like, not being able to make NFL open reads or ability to process or whatnot. We are in year 3. Hold up. We are in year 3 of this Fields experiment.
Yeah, literally.
The team has invested so much into this offense to the point where their front 7 is still horrible. It's still horrible. Has nothing in it. They could have had Jalen Carter, but even then, like, they spent no free agent money into this pass rush or whatnot. And signing Yannick Ngakoue in August, that's just not enough. And paying money to linebackers as a result, that's basically your only investment on that side of the ball. And you're seeing it every week. They're getting gashed. But that also leads to the other side of the argument, where you've invested so much in this offense. You traded down from the number 1 pick. You got DJ Moore instead of Brian Burns, might I add. You traded back with Philly and get an offensive tackle. Okay, that's good. You traded essentially a first-round pick for Chase Claypool. I don't need to explain why that is dumb. And you've spent all this time investing in Justin Fields. And for him to still have the same exact issues as he was as a rookie, as he was last year, is honestly disappointing. Like, yeah, he can make plays that only 5 or 6 other QBs can make. But there are also 40 to 50 other QBs, I'm talking about in the league right now, that can, I don't know, throw with anticipation, can look at a coverage, look at looking at what coverage it is and making a read based off of that. Making an NFL open read, which I'm going to use this reference from Bruce Arians' book, The QB Whisperer. There are passers and throwers of the football. The throwers needs to see a receiver wide open in order to connect with it. And the passer, on the other hand, he can read the coverage and make a throw based off how that coverage is going to look. He can see the seam. He can throw the seam down a cover 3 coverage or whatnot and make that throw. Or split the safeties in a cover 2 or whatnot. And Fields, I don't know what it is that he still hasn't figured out. But at some point, the problem comes back to him. You can blame coaching. You can blame the poor offensive line protection all you want. I mean, you can watch the film. The players are open. And it's really disappointing that he hasn't taken a step in that direction to improve that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if he puts it all together, he can be a top 10 QB. But it just hasn't happened.
It's tough for Bears fans, too, because a lot of them are pretty much ready to jump ship, I feel like.
Also, I don't think they might be in the Caleb sweepstakes. That's how bad it's gone. Because if you're not good at offense because you invested in a QB that's not good, and as a result your defense is horrible because you didn't invest in it, then yeah, you're pretty much the worst team in football. Simple way to put it.
I think people who bet Bears under 7.5 wins on the season are feeling real good.
Do you remember those division odds that people were taking?
I don't even
like them winning
to win.
A lot of Bears fans made that hype. Yeah, they look really dumb.
Oh, yeah.
My Broncos Super Bowl pick.
That honestly looks better than the Bears.
Bears to get 8 wins.
I didn't think you could have a worse pick than that one, but apparently you can.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I don't know. I can go on forever about I don't know what's not clicking. Like, how can Sam Howell, Anthony Richardson, like figure these issues out sooner than you? What is Anthony Richardson has 13 football games starting in college because he just started playing the position.
Yeah.
And there are even like several backups that could probably I don't know what's not clicking. Not to mention the footwork is horrible, and as a result, it looks like on some throws like the passes are getting deflected, even though there's no pressure whatsoever. And his accuracy was the one thing that made him a great prospect because he has the athleticism, he has the arm talent, especially the velocity, and he was accurate on all 3 levels. But when you get to the next level and you can't, make those same can't throw to open Ohio State wide receivers every play, yeah, it's gonna be a lot different.
Let me chime in real fast there. I know you mentioned the word deflection. Obviously I've never been high on him. That's just my personal standpoint. But what he did today in that
crazy.
press
All I
conference,
said
I don't
didn't
know
even
if you
cover
guys
that.
watched it.
Which,
That pissed me off, man. That pissed me off so much that you're going to blame that on your coaching staff. Your coaching staff can call whatever play they want, but you're the QB. You can get into the huddle, or you can get there and you can call an audible and change it to whatever you see fit.
And you know what's crazy? You see that situation,
yeah, sure.
And then you see Jordan Love without his top receiver, top left tackle, and star running back. Basically, without 3 stars, he looks incredible. But Fields, for whatever reason, with all this help compared to everyone else, can't figure it out.
I mean, I don't want to barge too much, but to play devil's advocate a little bit, to be fair, the Packers coaches are a lot better than the Bears coaches.
But it's not like Luke Getsy. Yeah. Like I know there are plays, but he's calling way too many screens. But maybe that's because he doesn't trust his QB to be able to hit a wide open wheel route into the end zone that's glaring open, or even like a crosser that's glaring open on that same play. So, on one hand, the play calling can be better. But on the other hand, like, we just gotta stop making excuses.
Yeah, no.
Especially for someone that as talented as him.
When someone asks you, when someone asks you if what you did was, or do you take responsibility, and you say, no, I don't take responsibility, that's where you messed up at that point. And to put it on someone else, like, you can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, even if you don't mean it, just fucking take the blame for it and work through it and talk in-house to your coaches, not in front of the media.
And what I will say, I think for them to improve their season, I feel like if they're going to run, they might as well run Justin Fields, because at the end of the day, Fields is their best offensive weapon. Yeah. There's no other way around it. So, ways... But even then,
they cut Nathan Peterman.
Even then, what are you saving? But even then, why are you trying to save him?
Yeah, like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, I should not word it like that. I shouldn't word it like that. I mean,
because they don't even have a
Fields running the ball gives you your best chance to win. Why are you worried about him getting hurt? Because him playing the way he is not. Because if you're trying to protect him for the future, what if he's not the future answer because of how you're playing? So it's like,
the
problem is you traded away your future to get him,
and like,
they need to. It's at what point are they going to decide that we gotta end this thing? You know.
Fun fact: they just traded the pick that was. Fun fact: they just traded the pick that was Bryce Young in this past draft. Yeah. Really wish you could have him.
Mm-hmm.
And now they might. Well, if they end up with Caleb, I guess it doesn't matter. But.
Yeah, it's a good thing they didn't give up like too many first-round picks, because
they only gave up Kadarius Toney and Evan Neal.
Yeah,
you know, those two aren't looking too hot.
Yeah,
but I think if they're gonna attempt to fix this, I think if you run him more downfield rather than laterally, you can open up the run game that way. And I don't know what Fields has to do to figure out how to throw with anticipation, because there are some plays where he does throw with anticipation. Well, it's just not enough.
Yeah. I think maybe I don't really know what to do. Get DJ Moore in the slot, maybe try to find him easier throws, just quick slant type. I don't know really what else. Like, what could you do to make it easier for him to succeed? I feel like that's what they should focus on.
And you know what's crazy? We've covered all of this, and it doesn't even bring up the defensive coordinator resigning for, honestly, reasons we probably don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're
I think we know
not
going to
release it to the public.
Well, we have an idea of what it is. Like his house getting raided.
I looked at
well
the Twitter
as, like,
comments.
The practice facility getting raided for his stuff or whatnot. I don't know.
Okay, let me say this though: the craziest part of this whole thing that's going
Peanut
down.
Tillman.
Did you guys see who like?
Wait,
he locked you up on the field. Now he's locking you up in your life.
Yeah. So Charles Tillman, he left the Bears, became an FBI agent, and he's the one who called all the coaches and said, "Hey, shout out to what's going down today. Your former franchise player."
Shout out Matt Eberflus for somehow getting past that question several times on why Alan Williams isn't at the facility. But
that guy's got a talent for dodging questions.
Yeah, honestly, I think I feel bad for Eberflus because I think he's a good defensive coach, but sort of hard to coach defense when you don't have any good players, especially pass rushers. Like it was sort of like with the Steelers last year without TJ Watt. It's like, yo, Mike Tomlin is not making a game plan to stop the Bills. And I'm like, yeah, no duh.
I don't really think
TJ Watt.
But also, don't forget, at one point they had a linebacker room with Roquan Smith.
But they traded him both away.
I know. We had a segment. About running backs. Linebacker is what they heavily invested in on the defense. And linebacker is arguably the least valuable position in defense outside of maybe safety. But
you can have crazy linebackers.
If your defensive line is getting gashed, then it doesn't matter
every time.
Like, oh,
that too.
I got it forever about the Bears. I hope next time we talk about Justin Fields, he's gotten better at it, but I wouldn't count on that happening.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of faith in that, and that's hard being a Fields fan and admitting that. You know? Because all the talent's there. There's no denying that there are like 5 or 6 other QBs like that can't make the plays he can make. Like he can run 4.4. He can throw like 60+ yards on the dime, might I add. But it's just not coming together.
Yeah.
Like put Jimmy G in his body. Jimmy G's mind in his body. Hall of Fame QB.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got for that segment.
So I guess we can get into the plays of the locks of the week. They really may not have been locks last week. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm glad that.
Be honest.
I'm glad we get to redo that.
I think we went
over. Yeah.
I could even say over 5 because I was gonna say Jaguars Chiefs over, and that game was just sloppy all around.
Yep. So lots of you know about sports betting is we don't know very much.
We do not know ball.
But, all right.
We don't
with
know
that,
ball.
With all
we
that being said, though,
ball.
I think my lock of the week is the Cowboys minus 12 versus Arizona. And another little sparkle play is the FanDuel weekly specials for the highest scoring team on Sunday to be the Cowboys, and the lowest scoring team on Sunday, only Sunday games only, to be the Cardinals. Those two picks are like a lot higher. I think it's like plus 650, so like 6.5 to 1 for the Cowboys to be the highest scoring team. And I think that the defense gives a little scoring potential as well against Joshua Dobbs and the Cardinals. I could see a Dallas defensive touchdown, and I really wouldn't be surprised. So I'm all over the Cowboys this week.
Would this be their third scoring one?
I'm gonna tag along with that right now because my pick is very similar. Tomorrow, actually, you got San Fran playing the Giants team without Saquon.
Yep.
I think the spread also is 12, Carson. So let's hammer that. And
I agree.
Shit, I like the defensive touchdown there too.
One fumble.
One bad throw from Danny Dimes.
The Giants' offensive line does not look like they can block.
Yeah.
For Danny Dimes,
that would be my
definitely.
You can keep them. I like it.
That would be my parlay for the week. Give me the Niners spread.
Yeah.
And
one of my friends, somebody
touchdown.
who I was talking to about the Steelers game had Pittsburgh anytime defense, and that was a very lucrative bet.
Two times
defensive. Yeah.
No, those odds had to be like 2,500.
Oh no, he didn't bet. He just bet.
No, I know, but I'm just picturing what that would be.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah. Yeah. But I'm all over the Cowboys. Marko's all over the Niners. How about you guys, Sam and Elliot?
Elliot, I'm gonna let you go first because you might be disappointed in mine.
I hate to bring up the Broncos again, but I'm not saying anything regarding just them. I'm smashing the over on Dolphins and Broncos. I think Dolphins' offense has just been crazy. It's set at 48. We're obviously going to see some touchdowns from Tyreek Hill. We're going to see a lot of scoring from them.
You're going to see Amari Mathis lining up with either Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Is Waddle back?
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't looked much into that.
Yeah.
What was the practice report? That's the real thing to look at. Did he play? If he was limited, I think he'll play. But if he's not, then I guess that's something to monitor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I need to look at this real quick before I make this claim. All the passing things aren't available for Monday night. I was gonna say bet the Puka over.
Puka Nakua. I wonder what.
I think whatever it is, I'll take the over on that.
There's got to be one point where
do you think they set the line
out?
Probably like 74.
74. Okay.
74 is a good number.
I
got a good one. I got a good one, and it's a perfect reference to what the segment we just had. Chiefs minus 12.5 against the Bears. I do not see how that defense stops Patrick Mahomes at all. Healthy Kelsey. I don't know how they block Chris Jones. If Justin Fields is running into a sack on 2 wide open plays, I can't imagine what he's gonna do. Now, I will say, it does seem like a trap. That play does seem like a trap. Maybe Justin Fields plays better. Maybe, but I don't know. I'm not gonna count on it. So my lock of the week would be Chiefs minus 12.5. Honestly, I might even take it even higher. Especially with all the drama.
I'm gonna throw one more bonus play out there.
But I think
one more bonus pick of mine. I'm gonna go with
anytime like it.
He's been an anytime machine.
I think that's a pretty surefire one. I know. He's got 4 in 2 games. I mean, kid's cooking. I mean,
I don't know if you guys
got rid of
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Oh, yeah. That's basically a fully realized Kyron Williams.
Yep.
5'7", not that fast, doesn't have much power, but does everything perfect. But does everything else perfectly.
Yeah. I wrote down all these picks, and I really like. I think I'm going to take multiple parlays. The first being the Miami-Denver over, Dallas cover, San Francisco cover, Chiefs cover. Just those 4 picks. I like those. I feel confident about that.
Yep.
I think there's obviously when you make a 4-leg parlay.
And I got another one too. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this was mentioned either. I think the Packers cover against the Saints. It's 2. I know it's 2 points, but
2 points minus 2.
Okay. Home game. I think regardless of if Watson plays or not, if he does, then I feel better about it. But yeah, that might not be a lot because I just remembered Joe Barry's their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the Saints don't have a running back because Jamal Williams is hurt.
Yeah. Jamal Williams is hurt.
It's gonna be Tony Jones' season for 1 game before Kamara comes back. And also, I think their cornerbacks on the Packers match up pretty well with the Saints.
Hey, Drake London made
Jair also dropped a pick 6.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
What?
That's my point. I don't know what's going on with him. He's gotta get his head out of his ass.
Hey, Sauce dropped a pick 6 too. Probably. I admit.
I saw that too, and I was like, man, I was right there.
Yeah.
They're all just living in that hitman's shadows down in Tampa Bay. What's his name? I can't even remember.
Jalen Ramsey. Oh, what's it called? I know you're talking about the safety, Jordan Whitehead.
Against...
Hell yeah. Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, the fit man, Jordan Whitehead.
You guys got anything else to add? Or
no, I want to reiterate, I want to write it down. We got Miami, Denver over, Dallas cover, San Fran cover, Chiefs cover.
Yep.
I feel confident about it. And I might even add a little. I might even throw some, like, I might do that same play, but then add Tyreek anytime, add Christian McCaffrey anytime, add Kelsey anytime, and just juice it up for a long shot.
Or like a separate one.
All of it. So, like, combine the touchdowns with the covers.
Oh, I saw something.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking, man. I'm looking at VR betting on Sunday. This guy put $5 to win 26 grand on 4 first-time touchdown scores. He cashed out his bet and it hit.
What did he cash it out for?
Why does
That's so terrifying.
What he bet? Makers is like 6th highest touchdown score on like the Chargers Vikings game, and I'm just like, why?
Who's above him? Jefferson, Madison,
Eckler,
Luka?
Kelly, Madison, Jefferson, Allen. What the hell? What? Wait, Eckler and Kelly are both at -175.
That's crazy.
Ooh. Actually,
I think you know what?
Actually, I got an underrated touchdown score. Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Oh.
They got running back. They got no running back this week. Could be due.
Wildcat snap.
Could be due.
The goal line.
Let's see. Jake Fergie, love him.
Ferguson.
Hey Sam, why can't we get a pitch anytime touchdown?
Johnny Smith.
That's a Falcons tight end, right? That's a Falcons tight end. Hey, I've been saying this. Once they trade for Kyler Murray, I'll be all back on the Pitts train. But until then, I love what he does on the NFL field.
I really would.
I love what he does for my Madden team, you know? I love how good he is in that.
Hey, he goes off one game a year, and the past 2 years it's just so happened to be.
They play the Jets. Oh, they play the Jets too.
All right, well let's hold on.
The Jets are better.
Let's hold off till next week because Kyle Pitts is due. Kyle Pitts' first touchdown in London.
It's like SpongeBob passing his driver's license, or passing his driver's test. Yo, this is the one. It just doesn't happen.
And how many points do I need to pass?
600. But yeah, I think that wraps up this episode. Thank you guys for sticking through again or whatnot. Hopefully the audio isn't messed up in this one.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed on that. If you guys enjoyed watching this content, please leave a like and subscribe if you want. If you guys have
Yep.
If you guys have anything else.
So one more time for the people. We got Miami over, Dallas cover,
Have it up a little
cover,
more. Have it up a little more.
Chiefs cover. 4 picks.
Dang.
I'm not sure what the over is going to be for that Miami game, but I imagine somewhere around mid-50s, 57, 58, 59, something like that. We're hammering it. Doesn't matter.
Yep, all day. If you guys got anything else to say, feel free to add.
No, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Hopefully, we'll get another one soon to make up for last week. I think Keyshawn has talked to me about getting an episode about the Steelers and locks. So you guys will see that whenever I situate something like that with him. And until then, thank you guys for tuning in. And catch y'all on the next one.
Yes, sir. Peace and love.
Yeah.